Hi YouTube, this is Adriana again. I guess this is Q&A number 7. I've kind of lost track on that. I have gotten a lot of questions over the past year or so, and I have had my assistant Frank put together like a list of things that he wanted me to cover in a video. I had to dig out that email and get that all taken care of. So I figured I better address all of this here and get it all taken care of. Let's see. Somebody asked if I am on Facebook or Twitter. The answer there is yes. I do have an S. Conley page on Facebook that you can like if you want to keep up with my updates, my books, that sort of thing. It'll show up in your feed. You know, I don't post like every day to it, so you know, maybe once a week, or if something really big's going on, I'll go ahead and post it. So yes, there's that, and then I do have a Twitter account. It's at the Lovely Crab, as in like, you know, crab claws. I'm a Cancerian, the crab. Anyway, so it's kind of a little history behind that. Someone else asked me why I use different pen names. Is it because I'm trying to hide behind different names and nobody knows my real name? Adriana is the name that I use for all of my magical work, and within my coven, it's kind of like my spiritual name. A lot of you know this. A lot of you have probably taken on your own online monikers for such things. However, everybody knows me by my writing name, S. Conley. Conley is my surname, my actual legal surname. No, I'm not Jewish. That's another rumor that's been circulating, and I don't know why. But my husband does have a Jewish background, so that's why Reisner. Reisner is my married name. So I have 4 pen names because I write in 4 different genres. I am an occult author. But a lot of people think, oh, you know, she writes fiction and she writes about the occult, so all of her occult work must be fiction. That's not necessarily true. It's just that way back when, I always had an interest in writing. I always had an interest in the occult, and they kind of merged with S. Conley. But I never began writing thinking I would write about the occult, and I never got into the occult thinking I would write about it. So those were 2 separate interests that happened to overlap back in 1999, and it just kind of spiraled from there. But I have always been a novelist and a storyteller, so I've always written fiction. And I write occult fiction under Audrey Bryce, because it's a good mystery writer name, and it's kind of rated R. I also write fantasy novels that are safe for children under S.J. Reisner. And Reisner, again, is my married name, and that is my legal name. So the reason I separated the 2 and I created a different pen name for my adult fiction was because I didn't want young kids picking up a novel with sex in it and then getting in trouble with their parents. So that's how I ended up with 3 pen names. I started out with S. Conley for my nonfiction, S.J. Reisner for my fiction, Audrey Bryce for the more adult fiction. Then I began experimenting with writing erotic romance novels, just because a friend of mine suggested it in a critique group. She said, hey, have you ever tried this? And I thought, yeah, what the hell, I'll try it. And when that name hit it big, and I actually hit the bestseller lists with my novels there, I had to go ahead and claim that. I decided to go ahead and claim the name, but I wrote under a pseudonym to keep family and friends from knowing that I was writing such racy things. And that pen name is Anne O'Connell. It's kind of hard to keep it under wraps when you have a bestseller, because you all of a sudden have a lot of money, and I was able to finally do things with our house that we hadn't been able to do, like put on a new roof and get our front steps done and all of these things. And so I had to kind of come clean with my family, at least, that was the pen name, and I figured, you know, I might as well just come clean with my fans as well, because it's easier to do one website than have to keep 4 separate websites for 4 separate pen names. So anyone who's been following my work for any length of time already knows this. None of this is a secret. My real name is Stephanie. If you would like to address me as Stephanie, you may. And that's what the S in S. Conley and the S in S.J. Reisner stands for. So really, I have never misled anyone or used a false name. So, and yes, I do have four pseudonyms, but it's because I want to separate the genres in which I'm writing. And not only that, but some of my adult rated R readers don't want to read stuff that might be considered rated X, and I don't want children getting a hold of either of those or the occult books. So you can see why I've kind of separated that. It's just common sense. Somebody else asked, we're going to move away from questions about me personally for a second. This guy asks, is there a difference between the afterlife or the other side and the astral plane? If so, what are they? I have heard that people say they're the same and some people say they're different. The answer there, in my opinion, is yes. The afterlife, well, in a way, I mean, I can't, everything is interconnected. It's different levels, I would say, because I believe that when you die, if you're not tethered to this world, you leave and you go beyond the veil and you reconnect with the all, and you become part of the all. And then I believe all that energy that was us is like reincarnated and recycled into other living things down the line. And so I guess you could say in a sense it's reincarnation, but I don't know necessarily that I believe in reincarnation of consciousness. I do think that your consciousness can become part of the all while still remaining its own individual consciousness, just as part of it. And but the difference is when I work with the dead, they seem to come from a different place than, say, when I'm working with the demonic and I'm on the demonic plane. So for me, they're slight variations of the same thing. The energy is different from the all to the place where the demons come to speak with you, say the astral plane, if that's what you want to use. So that's just kind of my take on it. You're always welcome to your own opinion. And really, I mean, does any of us really know the truth of that? I mean, I ask the demonic if my views are correct, and I always get, well, of course they are, but then is that because I make it correct? Because the universe is mental? It goes all the way back to that old Hermetic axiom. So I'm going to stop here because I think this one's getting too long. I think I'm going to have to go for a Q&A number 8.